Ahoy everybody, Frankie Day here. Okay guys, this is the second video right after the inbox review of the of my cutting stock winter build. I'll be doing this this fall or early winter. Yesterday folks, I went down to Smitty's Hobby Shop and I went and bought this kit by Revell. It's 1/32 scale. It's the Arado Ar 196B model, not the A but the B model. Martin Lammett, the international scale modeler, inspired me in buying this kit. He did a very marvelous and superb job on his build, and he sold me into buying one of these. And Martin should be congratulated for doing an excellent job on that, and it's an award-winning build for certain, and a treasure to behold. Okay guys, I went and bought this yesterday. The list price for this thing, he has it marked, it was for $46, and I think it's $46.95. He had it marked down to $39.99 store discount, but when I come in there he gives me cussy out loose. So I got this here kit for $25. So I can't scream about that, so I'm pretty happy. Now the only difference between the A model and the B model, folks, now the A model, which is the shipboard Arado, had double floats on it instead of having the single float and the outer floats on similar to that of our Chanspot OS2U Kingfisher. Almost the same similarity in somewhat of the circumstances and extent. So anyway, this is the kit that I've got here, and has the same features in it as that of the A model, the one that Martin built. And what really struck me the most is this golf ball on the insignia on the rudder right here. It was very striking, and it got my attention, and so I went and bought this kit. I think it's a beautiful looking airplane. It's thing is already calling on me already, and I got the Denmark to get going on and a lot of other things. So it's going to be a build wherever the notion comes to mind, or perhaps somebody start a float plane group build again or something, you know, and maybe I'll get one going. Well, who knows? Do tell. Anyway, guys, this is the box. This is going to be this will be a full inbox review of this kit here. And before we get started with the presentation of the parts and the instructions and decals, folks, I highly recommend anybody out there getting this model. This is a very excellent kit, guys. I'll tell you, you will not be dismayed. You will not be dissatisfied about it. This thing is very quality. It's up with the Asian brothers. I think it's a lot better than the Asian brothers. Revell, Germany, are really on the ball, and they're getting the game together. And their kits are pretty precision, well designed built kits at a very affordable price. Us modelers can meet without a fuss. And they're right along next to Airfix, which is another fine company that's making new tooling kits. And they too are releasing some very precision skilled aircraft, which are more superior than the ones they had in the past. And again, the price is just right to meet the requirement standards of us modelers. Okay guys, in the beginning of the inbox review, this is a box right here this kit comes out of. And right here we'll start with the instructions, fellas. Right here, here's the instruction pamphlet they give you right here. It's nothing no more than the typical Revell Germany or Revell instructions. Nothing but call out codes, do's and don'ts, history, bilingual, parts list, and history of the aircraft, everything. So in the beginning of this page, before you flip it over here, it tells you the history of the aircraft. It's probably in different languages right here, as you can see there, fellas. And we flip this next page over here. There's no great importance, but you know the do's and don'ts and hows and nots to do. So this is BS right here. We get past that, folks. Same thing over here with the icon codes on here, what tells you what it is on the instructions. So we all know how that goes. It don't take long to be schooled on this. Okay, guys, over here, this page right here is the color callouts. They tell you the color callouts as per instructions. And right over here in this section here, folks, this right here is the part list of the sprues. So if you get confused, you can't find the part that's illustrated on the part sheet, you can look at the sprues right there and you can verify with the plastic sprues that come with the kit. So actually they're good for verification in case you get lost or something, you know, and helps you identify the parts a lot quicker too. Okay, fellas, in the beginning, right here. It starts out with the fuselage assembly. It's all lingeries. Right here they got color call outs. So you got a small sundry of parts that are assembled inside the lingeries to bring out the detail of this kit. In the beginning, on step 1, it has the bucket seat on here, the pilot seat, and it has the pilot seat mounts that fits on the pilot seat frame, and that fits up against the backrest, which is an armor rest right there to protect the pilot in case he gets shot at. And you got your matter of fact, that's the instrument panel too as well. And right over here, folks, on here it has color call outs on here. And I think it's optional too. If you decide not to, if you decide not to paint this right here, in this area here, let me get a little closer, folks. Right here, if you started to do any painting right here, you know, they got the decals, which is optional. You can use in place of the painting and instrument panels, which is a good plus. Of course, right over here, you got the rest of the cockpit parts right here, all assembly, sub-assemblies all done. Glued to the cockpit floor, and again, it's got the color call outs. They got the clock symbol on there telling you, hey, let it dry for a while. And over here is the assembly of the lingeries and the cockpit floorboard, and also the cockpit assembly as well. Okay, the next page over here is a continuation of the lingeries before you button up the fuselage. And you button up the fuselage on step 13. And we'll come back over here next page here, fellas. I look at these instructions only once to kind of read them pretty fast. This is a pretty darn good straightforward kit, and there's no error of confusion on here. It's pretty much down to the T. And right over here, folks, you got your, I believe right here is the side, you got your dispenser for your rear observer's machine, 30 caliber machine gun. You got your magazines on here, and this is your dispense bag right here that fits on top of the side of the port side of the fuselage. And after the fuselage is actually all buttoned together, and you got other structures like your motor mounts and everything, and you got your cowling fits on here. And as the instructions goes down, you got your aileron assembly, you got your landing flaps assembly, and all these black silhouettes right here simulate the options of the kit as it's being built. You got the top and lower wings, and you get your landing flaps, and you got your ailerons are all assembled right there in a sub-assembly. And the same thing goes on from step 27 all the way down to 26, which is the horizontal stabilizer, which is all here. And you got your base plate right here, which is a very nice touch. I kind of like that real good. And it looks like a flying saucer, but you got a couple of templates, not templates, but you got a couple of formers right there that fit pretty nicely underneath your wing floats for display. So you got something for it to set on. I was kind of hoping you had some kind of beaching gear, similar to that of the US-2U Kingfisher when it's on land base only. But I don't see any beaching gear in this kit, so that's probably the reason why they gave you that stand, just to display it. And same thing again on the other wing section right here. It goes all the way down. And of course, right down here on the end of step 36, you got your engine assembly right here, and you got your top of your float assembly, which are your struts, interplane struts fit into your floats right there. And right here it gives you an idea how this thing fits on top of the stand with the bottom of your float. So it fits really nicely in there. Okay, over here, guys, the motor's complete right there. You got your front of your cowling on there. You got your cowling frames that fit across from the back of your cowling flaps all the way up to your nose ring. You got your inspection panel frames, which holds them together, and also your motor mounts. Your motor actually cements front section of the fuselage, and the outer cowling ring will follow. And over here you've got all your rigging data on here, which tells you how to rig it up and everything, which ain't that much, but it's a must to rig this up to bring in the fidelity of the detail. This is truly a gorgeous kit, folks. You will not be dissatisfied if you ever get your hands on one of these. And you great fellas out there got one of these here in your stash, you know what I'm coming from. And so those of you who don't, I'd highly recommend it to add it to your stash pile, because it'll make a very, very nice build someday whenever you get the notion. Okay guys, all the way from step 43 down to step 46, you got a small sundry parts which completes the build itself. And again, you got these black silhouettes right here. It shows you how you want to display your model and everything. And so there's a lot of food for thought in this catalog on this instruction manual they gave you here to figure out if you want to fold the wings or leave the aircraft in a flying position, or fold both wings in a storage position. But in any case, it's up to the modeler, and the canopies, they're 3 sections. They all glue together, the canopies are. So they're more or less, they got to use canopy glue for that, folks. You want to use either that, you can use 5-minute epoxy. So canopy glue works quite well, so be sure to use your canopy glue on there, or you can use, I use tacky glue, which is the same thing. But you got to use a lot of delicacy, and you got to be very, very careful not to mar none of those beautiful, clear, transparent LASIK fittings for your windscreens and the canopy, because a little bit will scratch it and ruin the appearance of the kit. Okay, boys, as we proceed over here, you got more rigging for your outer plane struts, and you got your horizontal stabilizer is fitted next to the end of your stern empennage of the fuselage, and your rudder as follows. And you got your final assembly where your canopy goes at and everything. And all the way down here to step 63, which I believe that's about the last step. So actually, fellas, there's 63 steps in building this kit here. Then you just got to follow the symbols very carefully and the color call-outs very carefully. How the aircraft is exploded views, how it shows you how it's assembled, is very simple. Very simple. Okay, folks, this comes to the easy part and the fun part. This is called the painting. According to G, which is on here, I think it's a light olive they used on it. This is a pre-war Arado float plane. This is not a shipboard fighter. Actually, it's probably one of the first they did before they decided to make it a shipboard float plane by adding another center float, eliminating the 2 outer floats, which is the A model. But I gotta do some research on the color on this. The box looks like it's kind of like a green aluminum kind of, and the color call out for the upper surfaces, except the wing floats, the bottom of the wing floats are gray, and it's a light olive matte. So it might be in a Humboldt range or whatever it is. I gotta seek it out and find out what it is. So it'll be a while before I get this build. Okay, folks, this includes the instructions, how this thing is built. And we'll go to the fun part here, fellas. We'll get to the decals here. Decals ain't very much right here. Right here. Here's your decals right here they give you. Take them off this backing. Most SWAT goods, no nothing. They give you a couple golf balls on there, so you gotta be sure you gotta paint that. When you paint that red area, mask off the rudder and airbrush it with flat white. When that flat white dries, then you go ahead and paint it red, and go ahead and put your meatball on there. And so you got your registration numbers and everything go on the wings. Pretty straightforward. So the decals here are very, very, very easy to place on the model because they ain't that much decals. And they got the stencils are very, very smattering. Not very much stencils, but be sure to follow the instructions quite carefully to their proper location. Okay, guys, the decals too, they feel like a little bit on the thick side. So the Walther's decal solution will shrink it down like a glove. You should have no problem. Whatever favorite decal solution you want to use, Microsoft or Scale, whatever it is. That includes the instructions. That concludes the decals. And next, we're going to start out with the fuselage. Okay, guys, once you open your kit, opens up at the end of the box here. Opens up, the parts come out. Now, once you remove the parts from the kit itself, you're greeted with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues. And each sprues has got a baggie in there, And so you got 6 bags right here, and each bag's got 3 sprues in each bags. And I'm gonna get that thing for old Raleigh gets on it. And starting out right here, folks, on this sprue here, I'm not gonna take them out of the baggie here because I'm afraid I might get on the deck and a carpet monster will get it, or my 2 big feet will get it. Right here is the center wing float, which looks like it's about 10 3/4 inches long. And this is the center section that fits on top of the float here. That's where your struts fit at. Your interplane struts that go into the floats. And I believe right here is, I believe this is a former that fits inside the struts to give it extra strength. And right over here, this looks like this fits on the stand, where the bottom of this float will fit on top of here. That's how you display your model once it's done. The propeller looks very beautiful. The propeller's here. You got engine parts on the center of the sprues. You got 3 sprues in each baggie, fellas. The engine is very, very well detailed. Not as many parts as some of the kits that are made, though, but there's enough there, a lot of detail there to re-influence the kit. As you turn it over, you can see the push rod rings, the cylinder heads right here. You get your manifold rings on here, and you got your headrest up here for the back of your seat, and the other parts, inspection panels, and everything, and the landing flaps, your wing ribs, and then you got your manifold, your exhaust pipe, manifold ring, landing flaps, and there's a few other parts there too, fellas, right there. Most of it's all engine parts. And you got the observers windows. You got the Spence bag right there. So that concludes the first sprue. And the second sprue is right over here, what fell on the deck here. Excuse me, fellas. Yeah, it fell off the table here, guys. Had to pick it up off the floor. Okay, this is baggie number 2. It contains 3 sprues. And these sprues contain the wing and stabilizer assemblies, the starboard and port wing assemblies. And also you get your 2 fuselage assemblies right here too. And it's a pretty good sized airplane. Right here it looks like this is a tongue and a groove, some kind of a tongue and groove spar that fits inside the fuselage. And right here, fellas, this here, by looking at it, this is your wing root that fits in your fuselage where your wing plugs in. Well, they got this tongue that sticks out like a tongue and groove. I imagine that's kind of a, they use that to plug into your wing right there, give it the folding look. And matter of fact, you got 2 of them there they give you. So you got 2 of those tongue and grooves. And these fit inside the center of the fuselage, and they protrude past the wing root to accept the inner wing roots on the wings itself, especially if you're going to put it in a flight configuration or in a storage configuration. It's optional. So ain't much happening in this kit, guys, but just 2 fuselage halves and the 4 wing halves, 2 stabilizer halves. That's about it, and that's sprue right there. It looks like you got your landing flaps right here that fit here. They must fit on the bottom. That includes that sprue. We got another sprue over here. Right here, fellas, this is the goodies right here. This right here is the base plate, the display stand, which is used to display this beautiful model when it's finished. And as we pull it out of the way here, this is the cockpit floor right here, fellas. This is where all the cockpit parts fit at. And they're enclosed inside these lingeries right here. Here's a lingerie assembly right here. So they get you snipped off, cleaned, trimmed, and sanded. Make sure you got no excess plastic on there. And assemble your parts on there and go ahead and do your interior colors. Give it a good wash. That'll really bring out the detail. I kid you not. This thing here is a wash queen. She loves washers, and I bet the washers make this thing really look authentic when it's done. So don't be bashful using washers on this kit, guys, because you got a lot of recessed panels in here that washers are very much